Hey, don't I know you from camp way back when we were kids and we used to go to the same sort of youth camp together and counselors and my mistake. Hello, I am Robert.
And I am Noelle. And today we're talking about Coming Home in the Dark from 2021?
I think so.
Yes, directed by James Ashcroft. But if you ask me, it's more like Asscroft. Because this movie was ass.
This movie, it's basically about violence in another hemisphere. New Zealand, specifically. I think New Zealand. I think it takes place in New Zealand. There's a mix of Australian and Canadian and other actors, but it's set in New Zealand. And just let's look at Rotten Tomatoes, for instance. Why? Because Rotten Tomatoes has a critic rating, which is 91%, very high for this movie. And then they have an audience rating. It was like about 50%. Not so high.
Pretty big disparity.
The critics loved this film. I think it played at Sundance, at the last Sundance Festival. They loved it. How'd you feel about it?
I could tolerate it.
This one is, depending on your definition of horror. I mean, this is a crime drama thriller. People die, so sure, horror, I guess, by some definitions.
But it's not what you think of when you think of a scary movie.
No, there's no supernatural shenanigans. There's no vampire, no werewolf, no ghost, no zombie. It's brutal. It's brutally nihilistic. It is not a happy movie. It is not a feel-good movie. It is...
It's a feel-bad movie.
It's like getting a brick in the face. It's... If you are depressed or if you are prone to depression, don't watch this movie. Right?
I knew that before.
Yeah, me too. I needed to take some extra meds after I got done watching this one. It's a capture, torture. It's kind of like home invasion movies are very popular in the last few years. It's like a home invasion movie, but on the road. And you know, the synopsis is a teacher and his family are accosted by two, no-goodniks or ruffians or criminals, whatever you want to call them, and he's forced to examine the actions of his past. That sounds kind of vague. Basically, it's just how horrible these two dudes are to everyone in the world, I think. Until they start driving around at night. It's some beautiful scenery, shot in New Zealand, it's lovely. A lot of this takes place in a friggin' car at night. Very cramped, very, causes a lot of tension, just even without anybody being hurt or anything. It's just super tense. There's violence, people get hurt, people get killed, but for the most part it's not gory.
No.
But I find a movie like this way more disturbing than Texas Chainsaw Massacre or any of these in-your-face gore movies, because it's so real.
You could hear this on the news.
And so brutal. Yeah, it's horrible. As I said, it's sort of a capture, torture movie now, or a home invasion style movie, in a car mostly. And those are well established and have a formula. There's happy, yeah, let's go on a picnic, yeah. And then there's a capture or an invasion. Maybe people get hurt right away, maybe not right away. Then they're in captivity. Do exactly as I say. Don't look at me. Keep your hands down. Very bossy. Then there's usually a false escape.
Or several.
Maybe there's a couple, right? Then usually there's some form of redemption, whether it's the bad guys or the good guys. And then there's the resolution, I guess, in a movie with a happy ending. He kills the bad guys,
They all go home.
and everybody goes home and like, wow, that was a crappy day, but at least we're all alive and
We're all
home,
together.
right? Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
And it's not that kind of movie. There is a redemption in this movie, but it's weak. It's not the redemption that you hope for. So the brutality just continues. And then as you get deeper into the movie, there's references to, you've been killing people left and right. Now there's references to child abuse. It's just I found it to be a slog to get through. She said, I want to watch this movie, so I said, I don't know anything about it, let's watch it. So I watched the movie. It's coming home in the dark. I think, somebody's got to come home in the dark, and it's like a ghost pops out, or maybe there's a zombie that chases him. Oh my God, it's not that kind of movie. No. Lines from the movie.
There's a difference between doing something and letting something happen. They live on the same street, though.
I will say this, that lines like that, well written and somewhat philosophical. There's a couple lines like that in this movie. I didn't find you. I wasn't looking for you. He also says, you never know how your day is gonna turn out. Huh? Daniel Gillies, he's the actor who plays Mandrake. He played Elijah on the Vampire Diaries, which I never watched.
I watched that, but I didn't recognize him.
His performance was fantastic.
He plays kind of a bad guy on Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, I figured.
Not like the bad guy, but like a bad guy.
But this was a great performance. He's not a likable character, but he sure as hell is memorable.
Mm-hmm.
He did great.
The one line that sticks out to me that he said that was really memorable was when he was like, I think that was the moment where you're gonna wish you did something.
Yeah.
Something like that, I'm paraphrasing.
I think this was, in hindsight, I think you're going to think that was the moment that maybe you should have done something. Let's give this a pumpkin rating.
1 pumpkin? 2 pumpkins? That's 2.5 pumpkins? I think it was a well done movie. It just doesn't necessarily fit my definition of horror movie, and it didn't make me feel very good at the end. So
Critics loved it. It's a strong movie. When something evokes that kind of emotion in me, you know it's good. But there's no fucking way am I watching this movie again.